Mythical Zoids. There has definitely been some Zoids based on mythical creatures over Zoid's 40-year run, so let's check out a few. Let's start with unicorns. There is a sort of unicorn. It's more of an alicorn, which is basically just a unicorn with wings. But yes, we have a Rudios over here, which is an old-school Helic Republic type Zoid. It was essentially used to take down Gil Vaders, which is a big dragon Zoid, and it's pretty friggin' cool. This thing could hit speeds of over Mach 3, so it was definitely an awesome Zoid for its time. Unfortunately, it was destroyed in ZAC 2054, and no new ones have been created since. And back when Zoids was being distributed by Kenner in North America, there was a black version called Evil Pegasus. Although despite the name, I'm pretty sure there's no actual lore associated with any of the Kenner Zoids, so I couldn't tell you whether or not it's actually evil. It just has a more menacing paint scheme this time around. Now, as for dragons. There have been quite a few. Let's start with the biggest one, Gil Vader. Gil Vader is an old-school Imperial Dragon type Zoid. It's essentially a flying Deathsaur, but like a Rudios, it was destroyed in ZAC 2054 and never seen again. Although Gil Vader would get a color swap counterpart in the form of Gil Dragon, which did appear in the 4th Zoids anime, Zoids Genesis. It's essentially the same model as Gil Vader, except this time it's got more swept-back horns and a more regal paint scheme in white, blue, and gold. I also have a chrome version of Gil Dragon all the way from Vietnam, and is this thing not freaking gorgeous? There's also Redler, which is an adorable little Imperial Dragon type, which is essentially their answer to the Republic's Terrace. And this thing's just so cute, and it comes in a variety of colors, usually purple, red, or black. Although there was also a super rare Genesis version of Redler, which shares the same color scheme as Gil Dragon. Very pretty, very hard to come by. Unfortunately, also suffers from brittle brown plastic syndrome. Very odd. Next up for dragons, we have Gun Gyarados. Gungi here is a little-known dragon from the old-school days of Zoids. It's pretty cool. It's essentially the same concept as Genosaur. The Empire needed a smaller, more affordable version of Gil Vader, so they made this thing. And a neat little thing about it is it has the bipedal mode I showed a moment ago, and this cool quadrupedal flight mode. So it's got 2 modes, just like Gogulus Giga, and for some reason a drill tail that I'm not really sure how it's supposed to be used, but it looks cool nonetheless. There's also Death Razor / Decalto Dragon, which is a Blocks-type Dragon Zoid. He's pretty interesting. Decalto Dragon also had a Genesis counterpart. I guess Genesis liked its Dragon Zoids. There's also Chimera Dragon, which is another Blocks-type Dragon Zoid, which I think appeared in the 3rd anime Zoids Fusers. There's also Matrix Dragon, which I haven't managed to secure yet, but is also a Blocks Dragon type Zoid, and a lot of people actually like this one. I hope I get one someday. A more recent type of Dragon Zoid would be this Xeno Rex variant, which is the result of Duel Masters and Zoids collaborating to make what is called the Balmetius White Dragon. This thing's pretty cool. Jumping back to the early 80s, there's Pegasaurus, which is a bird dragon, I think? Moving on from dragons, we also have the Fire Phoenix, which, as you may imagine, is a Phoenix-type Zoid. There's the traditional Takratomi blue version and the Hasbro red and yellow version. There's also a version of Fire Phoenix with translucent yellow wings. And you can combine Fire Phoenix with Liger Zero to make Liger Zero Phoenix, which I guess you could say is kind of a chimera since it's a bird cat now. Liger Zero Phoenix is actually getting a new version as part of the AZ line, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Now, as for Centaur Zoids, I don't think there really is one, but there is this horrifying monstrosity that is called Centaur. It's a weird kit bash from the old school battle story days of Gogulus, Salamander, Ultrasaurus, and Gordos. Also with this giant bow. I guess they made it out of scrap materials because I can't identify that thing. I don't know if I'd actually call it mythical, but it is called Centaur and it's weird looking, so sure, why not? Whew, I think that about covers it. At least that's all the mythical Zoids that are coming to mind. Zoid on.